It's embarrassing because it's not politically correct. I mean, I know what should have happened. In a bath with salt grains from the Dead Sea, Enya playing, me loving my woman self. I know the story. Vaginas are beautiful. Our self-hatred is only the internalized repression and hatred of the patriarchal culture. It isn't real. Pussies unite! I know all of it. Like, if we had grown up in a culture where we were taught that fat thighs were beautiful, we'd be pounding down milkshakes and Krispy Kremes, spending our days lying on our backs, thigh expanding. But we didn't grow up in that culture. I hated my thighs, and I hated my vagina even more. I thought it was incredibly ugly. I was one of those women who looked at it and from then on wished I hadn't. It made me sick, and I pitied anyone who had to go down there. So I began to pretend there was something else between my legs. I imagined furniture, cozy futons with light cotton comforters, little velvet settees, leopard rugs, or pretty things. Silk handkerchiefs, cozy pot holders, place settings. I got so used to this that I lost all memory of having a vagina. Whenever a man was inside me, I would picture him inside a mink-lined muffler or a Chinese bowl. But then I met Bob. Bob was the most ordinary man I ever met. He was tall and thin and nondescript and wore khaki tan clothes. Bob didn't like spicy foods or listen to Prince. He had no interest in sexy lingerie. In the summer, he spent time in the shade. He didn't share his inner thoughts or feelings. He had no problems or issues, and he wasn't even an alcoholic. He wasn't particularly funny or articulate or mysterious. He wasn't mean or unavailable. He wasn't self-involved or charismatic. He didn't drive fast. I didn't particularly like Bob. I mean, I would have missed him altogether if he hadn't picked up my change that I dropped on the deli floor. But when he handed me back my quarters and pennies and his hand accidentally brushed mine, something happened. I went to bed with him, but that's when the miracle occurred. It turned out that Bob loved vaginas. He was a connoisseur. He loved the way they felt, the way they tasted, the way they smelled, but most importantly, he loved the way they looked. He had to look at them. The first time we had sex, Bob told me he had to see me. I'm right here, I said. No, you, he said. I have to see you. Turn on the light, I said, thinking he was a weirdo freaking out in the dark. He turned on the light and he said, okay, I'm ready to see you. Right here, Bob, I waved. I am right here. And then he began to undress me. What are you doing, Bob? I said. I have to see you, he replied. No need, I said. Just do it. I have to see what you look like, he said. But you've seen a red leather couch before, I said, but Bob continued. He wouldn't stop. I wanted to throw up and die. This is awfully intimate, I said. Can't you just do it? But he said, no. It's who you are. I have to see. So I held my breath. He looked and he looked. He got breathy and his face changed. He didn't look ordinary anymore. He looked like a hungry beast. You are so beautiful, he said. You are elegant and deep and innocent and wild. You saw that there, I said. I saw that, he said, and more, so much more. Bob stayed looking for almost an hour, as if he were studying a map, observing the moon, staring into my eyes, but it was my vagina. In the light, I saw him looking at me, and he was so genuinely excited, so peaceful and euphoric that I began to get wet and turned on. I began to see myself the way he saw me. I began to feel beautiful and delicious, like a great painting or a waterfall. Bob, he wasn't afraid. He wasn't grossed out. I began to swell, began to feel proud, began to love my vagina. And Bob, he lost himself there. And I was there with him, in my vagina. And we were gone.